Hey guys, welcome back to another Helix video. So today I'm doing something a little fun. We're going to look at a Helix preset and what would happen if we didn't put an amp model in there. We're going to just do a cabinet block and an experiment with a few of the drive pedals just to see what we get. At the very least, it should be some interesting sounds and maybe some sounds you really like. If you do like the sounds you hear in this preset, as always, there will be a link in the description box below to download the preset for free if you'd like to try it out. So all that out of the way, let's hop over to HX Edit and take a look. Okay, so here we are in HX Edit. Really quickly, we have a cab block. I've got a 1x12 Fender and a 4x12 Marshall cabinet, best of both worlds. We've got a compressor here just to kind of clamp everything down at the end. A little basic reverb. Other than that, as you can see, no amp blocks, just a bunch of drive blocks because I wanted to try out different pedals for different sounds and see how things combine and just having fun with it. So here's what the guitar sounds like straight in direct. You know, nothing going on there, just running through the cabinet. So one of the first ones I tried here was the Legendary drive because the real pedal they modeled it after is actually a preamp pedal. So in theory, this should work out quite well running it into a cab block with no amp block. So let's see what it sounds like. Yes, it sounds good. Also, it does clean up, in my opinion, very well when you work the volume knob, which adds a bit of versatility. So, yeah, I wouldn't have any problem building a patch around that as the preamp sound and going from there. So, we're 1 for 1 so far. Yeah, so next we'll take a look at the Diana drive here, which is, if memory serves, the pedal they modeled this after is going for a similar, like a Dumble style or D style tone, if I'm not mistaken. So we're going to hear probably not as high of a gain profile as the Legendary drive, and probably a little more mid-range than the other one had. So let's give it a whirl. So yeah, it's a more of a bluesy thing. Again, responds very well to pulling the volume knob down, getting it to clean up. Again, I could build a preset around that, no problem. That's a very cool thing. One thing I mentioned before I go on too is if you want to play around with this kind of concept, you know, don't be afraid to use EQ blocks to kind of bump or pull back certain frequencies that. If you feel like you're using this pedal thing instead of an amp and you're maybe missing some low end or too much mid-range or whatever, you know, for the pedals that they have some control of EQ on most of them, but just drop an EQ block in after that. Just use the simple 10-band graphic EQ and play around with it. If it's not quite what you want, try cutting and boosting frequencies and level. And I think that would add a whole other dynamic to using this kind of method. So anyway, on to the next one. So this one's the Swedish Chainsaw. It's kind of a Boss metal kind of thing, a Boss metal pedal. And so we're going to get a little bit more high gain sound. So let's see what this one's like. So it's cool. I'm not really much of a high gain player, but I think that does a good job. I think that going back to what I was just talking about with the EQ block, that for heavy music, that to me sounds like it's got a lot of mid-range in it. I feel like if you could pull that mid-range out and tighten it up a lot and give it more of a true metal sound, where that's to me like a very heavy rock tone. So there's my 2 cents on that one. So I'm gonna skip this block for now and go to the front of the chain. We'll come back to that one, but at the front we have a fuzz face. So let's see how things get fuzzy without an amp. So yeah, it's pretty cool actually. I did a video, a couple videos back about fuzz, where I ended up using some tricks with EQ and different things to make fuzz more palatable to me. I've never been a huge fuzz guy, and ironically enough, which is really what gave me the idea to do this video, is I was messing around with fuzz and just turned the amp off altogether and thought, actually for a fuzz tone, I like that better than having an amp in the chain. So that's what led me to put this together and go, well, let's just try other pedals and see what happens. So I really like the fuzz. I generally like that better than when I do run it into an amp model. So anyway, take that for what it's worth. What I skipped over is the Kinky Boost. This doesn't really do much standalone. It's a bit of a preamp, but it's just, it's pretty clean. What I find with even in front of the amp or after with the drive control on the Kinky Boost, it's almost more of a volume control. I mean, you get more gain, but it just more so than any other pedal that I've played around with in Helix, the drive vastly changes the output volume level. So that's why I'm not going to bother cranking it up to try to use it to push the amp, because it's just going to get loud. But no Kinky Boost and with Kinky Boost. So it has a little bit of body, but it's not really, not really doing much. So why did I leave it in? I found that I liked using the Kinky Boost as a way to kind of add on top of the pedals that are already on. So let's go back to the fuzz for a second. And, the fuzz on its own. Now we're going to add the Kinky Boost. So it just adds more. It is making it a little louder, which will give you the perception of that sounds better. But I do think there are some genuine tonal changes going on there. And of course, louder is funner, right? So I like doing that as far as pairing those. You can also pair it with one of the other ones. It should work. It should be fun with any of them. Without. So here it is without. And then back with it. So really, whatever you pair the Kinky Boost with, it's going to push it a little harder, but it's just going to be a little more. That's the best way I know how to describe it. So anyway, again, this was just kind of a fun little experiment I did. And to be honest, some of the takeaways for me are there might be presets I use this to actually build the sound for, especially with fuzz type stuff. So anyway, I hope this is in some way useful, at the very least entertaining for you guys. Hopefully it's a fun little trick you can play around with, maybe find some new sounds or get some sounds you've been going for. As always, appreciate you guys checking out the video. Please like, subscribe, comment, click the bell for notifications. all that good stuff. And until next time, we'll see you.